there it is, 51.5 hours on the 4066. So I figured I would do a 50-hour review on my 4066. Still very much getting used to it. I mean, as you've seen in a lot of recent videos, I'll go ahead and get down out of the cab and I'll do a walk around. As you've seen in some of my other videos, certainly still getting used to it. Really like the machine. Still doing modifications to it. I know, taking apart a brand new machine, not for the faint of heart, I would suppose. It took a lot for me to take this machine apart and add the linear actuator and everything else. Really like it. I mean, I don't have much bad to say. I did actually got my survey from John Deere asking what I liked about it, if I had any concerns. The only thing I told them in the survey, and I understand why they don't offer it, is I think there should be LED lights, which we're working on adding, and I think they should add the electric actuator for the skid steer mount. Other than that, I understand why they don't add those. I mean, LED lights, that's probably a $1,200 option. Are people really going to buy the LED upgrade on a tractor like this? Probably not. It has a base price of, what, $35,000 or $38,000, and if you get it all with all the nose pickers and everything else, you're looking at, maybe $65,000. It's MSRP. And then the skid steer plate with the electric actuator, I mean, that's probably going to be a really low volume seller as well. That's an additional probably $1,200 to $1,500, just like the skid steers. So, I mean, I can understand why Deere doesn't put those on there. Other than that, really like the machine. I don't have many complaints. It went through its first regeneration the other day. In fact, my muffler is now a little brown. You can see in there where it got hot the first time. I had it out a little while ago. Yeah, I mean, I really like it. I'm trying to sit here think about some of the things that I've run into. Dealer's been really good. So we've had all that right there. I think I fixed that. I went into the dealer and had a nice chat with the mechanic, and he said he would be happy to fix it, but he gave me some twist ties and gave me a couple tips. And when we installed the electric actuator, I actually went ahead and rerouted the cables a little bit, and I think it's going to work. I'll have to pull them off here in a little bit, in a couple hours, and see if they're rubbing on that panel right there. And if they're rubbing on the panel, then we'll go back and we'll work on it some more. Not really too in tune to doing too much with the hydraulic outlets, since I want to add the single point attachment. And I guess my one complaint, if I really only had one complaint about this machine, is the windshield washer. I really do not like the windshield washer. It's terrible. And when you're outside and it's dusty and everything, and you're trying to wash the windshield because you can't see out of it anymore, it's just awful. Just absolutely awful. But I mean, I think I can modify that as time goes on. Plenty of power. The 66 horsepower, plenty powerful enough. No complaints there. I haven't done any service to it yet, other than grease everything. You can see that I'm getting a nice buildup of grease on the loader. I will probably go ahead, and even though it's not in the manual, I'll probably drop the oil out here in the next 5 or 6 hours, and I'll put just more break-in oil in it, and then I'll change it out at 200 hours. Have no intentions of dropping the hydro fluid out. Nowhere in the manual does it say anything about it. So I'll double check that again. But other than that, I probably will not touch the hydro fluid for probably until 200 hours or so. Then I'll change it out at 200 hours. That's still before it's recommended, from what I remember. Another thing, self-leveling loader has taken a lot to get used to in terms of use, but I am slowly getting used to it. I can get my buckets now when I actually am digging. I can get them 85% full, and occasionally I'll get a nice full one. Just haven't had that many opportunities to use it. Much like some of the other videos out there on YouTube, there is some binding with all of the self-leveling part and the skid steer plate. I think the skid steer plate, the way it hooks up, makes the binding a little less severe than the regular mount. I don't know. I obviously don't have a regular mount to compare to, but it is something that I have noticed. Still no PTO hours on it yet. Don't even have a PTO powered attachment yet. Most of the time, this machine has had the 4270 or 4178 box blade on it. Really, really like the box blade. It is a very nice, well built unit. No complaints there. I do wish that they had, actually, right after I say no, there's no complaints, I do wish that there was a way to lock the scraper bar up, because you have to put it down in order to connect and disconnect the hydraulics for the scraper bar. Mostly from a standpoint of, if you don't drop it, you're trying to connect with pressure in the lines. So yeah, really like the auto hitch function. I've actually gone back and forth between this box blade and a landscape rake a friend is letting me borrow until I can get one. I use it to rake up rocks in the driveway. And so used it, gone back and forth quite a bit. Really like the auto hitch. Certainly a nice option. And the reason that I have to use the auto hitch with the landscape rake, I shouldn't with the iMatch, but the reason I have to use the auto hitch is because the paint is still wearing on the iMatch hitch. It wasn't, a couple more times hooking it up and I won't have this problem at all. But as soon as all the paint's worn off everything, also the quick hitch pins on the landscape rake are newer, and it's a newer landscape rake and doesn't have much wear on it. So, there's lots of things that are really tight in there that I don't think I'll have to use auto hitch after the next couple of times. So, haven't towed anything with it yet. I do need to tie up. I realize I do need to tie up those hoses right there. I think probably one of my next purchases for this is actually going to be a heavy hitch weight bracket for the 70-pound weights. I've acquired some more 70-pound weights for this machine, and can't remember the total now, but I think I've got about the equivalent of a box blade. Shorten it up a little bit. Still not too keen on setting the box blade outside, but I suppose it is what it is. I don't have any place to store it inside at the moment. So yeah, really no complaints. After 50 hours, we'll put it through its paces this summer and kind of go from there. I suppose I should probably at some point do a cold start. I will say that the block heater works really, really well. It takes about 4 hours. It's nice and toasty. No problem. I haven't had any problem starting. Normally the back part of the shop stays about 20 degrees this time of year. It'll probably be a little colder. Hopefully get a video of it moving snow here sometime soon. So anyway, I've yammered for almost 9 minutes, and if you have any questions, post them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. Hopefully people find these videos and reviews somewhat helpful. That's the whole reason I got on YouTube, is I was looking for some information on rebuilding an Onan engine, and that's actually what kind of got me started. So I all started with trying to take a cam gear off of an Onan crankshaft. One of my first videos, it's not even public, was posting that, and just so a couple other people could see it, I sent them just the unlisted link, and it's kind of grown from there. So I really do appreciate all the views. The reason I do it is because other people watch it. So if you want to see something in particular, let me know. If you have questions about the 4066, write them in the comments. I really try to respond to most questions. Sometimes I don't get to them. I'll see it and I'll just forget about it. So if you don't get a response, just send me a reminder. You know, it's that easy. So anyway, thanks for watching.